Hello everyone, I'm Robert Tussard, the creator of Blockchain Kingdoms. We turn video gaming into passive income and paid work. It's been a while since I made a video about the crypto markets and the equity market, so I wanted to chat a little bit about what we've been seeing over the last 2 weeks. So I apologize for not making a video. During this whole strange period, we were dealing with some things with the company and I was reevaluating our strategy. Meanwhile, I've been watching the equity market and the stock market do some really crazy things. Ethereum went up over almost 100% over the last couple of weeks. And Bitcoin's been dropping. The equity markets, the Dow and a lot of value stocks have been way up, while a lot of people's favorite tech stocks have been way down. So I want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing, my thoughts and views. So first of all, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, make your own decisions. The point of this video is I want to entertain you, or at best maybe you find something valuable and something helpful for you in this video. But really I'm just going to talk about my thoughts, my opinions. None of it is financial advice, and hopefully at the very least you're entertained. So the markets have been all down and up and all over. It's been ridiculous. I have been following them with great interest. And I've been doing some investing, buying the dip in the stock market, and I've been very confused about what's been going on. So much so that I haven't made a video while we were dealing with the cancellation of our WeFunder and looking at the best way to continue forward with our business. And in the meantime, I was just really discombobulated, and I wasn't sure what to say or think about what I was seeing in the market. So what I can tell is there's a large story around inflation fears. Apparently the price of like steel and wood are doubling. So we're probably seeing the economy really kickstart itself up, right? And so this has been affecting crypto, it's been affecting equities. We've been seeing a lot of commodity stocks going up in value. If you're familiar with Cathie Wood is an ARK investor. She's, people call her a darling of the ETF funds. She's gotten a lot of popularity. She was one of the ETF funds that bought a whole lot of Tesla and has profited very greatly from holding Tesla, and they perform very well. Now, she says that she thinks essentially a lot of the typical value stocks that you see in the Dow, that they're going to become value traps because they have a lot of value, but they have not been keeping up with the advancement of technology. They haven't been really innovating, and she thinks that the value of those are eventually going to decline, and people are going to see the value instead in like the tech stocks, like the Teslas and the CCIVs, the Lucids Motors of the world, and the Pacific Biosciences, Genomics. She thinks that those are going to be the biggest value growing stocks in the future, and she thinks they're going to greatly outperform the Dow stocks. So I've never really experienced an area of inflation. I have always seen tech stocks do extremely well. I was a teenager in the 90s. Since then, I've seen tech stocks pretty much dominate the space, from Apple to to the Teslas. Like, we've just seen these things skyrocket over the years. Tesla definitely had its struggles. Many of the tech stocks had their struggles. Amazon was extremely volatile at one point, up and down, but in the end did extremely well. I think Tesla had a very similar story. So there's all these different stories, and crypto in particular has been really interesting. If we go over here, we look at CoinGecko. Bitcoin, wow, I just realized that Bitcoin's down another 2.8%, down 21% for the week. And Ethereum is also apparently on its way down. I'm just actually now seeing, as I'm looking at this, that we're even more red. I realized this morning that we were pretty red in the crypto markets, but we're actually more red, and I'm a little surprised at it. So I find this really interesting because I saw that what was happening with Ethereum was that the prices were becoming almost unsustainable in terms of network usage. It was costing us almost $30 or $50 for a ERC20 token swap. and then over $100 for a Uniswap. We saw it almost up to $200 to $300 for a Uniswap. It was ridiculous. I don't know who the heck is using the network when the price is that high, but possibly people with lots of money moving things back and forth, automated AI systems. I don't know. Very interesting to see all this. And while Ethereum was having those issues, I was buying some Chainlink and some ADA, Cardano, as well as Matic, because those seemed like they were hedges against the rising prices of Ethereum transactions. And if we look at Matic, I can't seem to find it at the moment, but where is it? Yeah, it's down by another 9.3% today as well, although it's really up since I bought it. So that's pretty cool. So I want to talk about what I've been doing. So I bought some NFTs. I like NFTs because they seem to me like they have a high potential to go up, but they also have a pretty stable value. Rarely do I see NFTs sell below their market price. And so I bought I bought a Grand Armor shop in Mirandis. There was a huge dip in the Gala token, and while the Gala token was dropping, I was like, hey, I could buy this at a huge discount because the Gala token's down like 25% since. I think this person might have been paying attention, so I went ahead and I nabbed it. So now that's up for resale and for a higher value on OpenSea that I put up. And I was also buying some long-term call options. Meet Kevin, who I watch and I think he's extremely intelligent, has a lot of knowledge about the stock market. He was buying a lot of the dip once a lot of these tech companies hit like almost down 50 to 60% from their all-time highs. That's when I started buying some long call options in some of these tech companies. And to be honest with you, I'm actually down kind of significantly on some of these call options. But the way I look at it is, even if I'm down 40 to 50% on a call option, I really bought them for the tremendous upside. From a year from now, those call options being worth quintuple or more of what they're worth right now. So that's really what I was betting on. And I kind of went on for a large hedge of these from Lucid, the CCIV stock, to MP Materials, to also bought some Riot, in which I know Riot's probably going to be way down on Monday, considering the way that Bitcoin's going. So I've kind of diversified into a bunch of these tech stocks that I like, Bionano Genomics, and that I think a year from now are going to have extreme amount of value. And so they're definitely long-term strategies, buying these long call options. But one of the reasons I did them was because it's what Meet Kevin was doing, and I think he's extremely smart. And even if only 50 to 100,000 people are watching his videos, like how many of those people are actually buying those call options? And so I figured that was probably the best strategy for me given this particular market. And I think it's really hard to figure out what the right thing to do is in this particular space, because I sometimes think that really you have to know what the story is that's going on behind the big money doors. Whoever has the big money, the hedge funds, whatever they're doing, like if you could be behind their closed doors figuring out what they're doing. They also have a lot of automated AI systems. The AI systems are like sending them the signals to buy and sell, and they're processing those signals. I think everyone kind of does it a little differently. Sometimes the AIs just go off, and other times there are people who just look at the signal, agree the signal's right, and then they trigger the trade. That's where a lot of the big money is, so you kind of figure out what those guys are doing. So I think they've been in the market long enough that they thought they saw the hedge was going to be into commodities, so we saw in the stock market a lot of the Dow going into there. And I was really kind of thrown off by that because I've never seen inflation fears in the market before. I'm not that old. I'm not old enough to understand what happens in an inflationary fear market. So I want to share some of my thoughts on what to buy in a market like this. And again, this is not financial advice, and I really mean it, because you really have to use your own best your best knowledge. And and there's a lot to say about that. So I'm gonna go kind of in depth into these things, but I think when it comes to what to buy, you really have to pick what you think is the strongest story. Because something that I've noticed, particularly in these markets, is that there are just so many stories about all assets. Particularly if you go into our Discord chat, since the beginning, we've seen a lot of people on our Discord chat, sometimes me included, who just like didn't understand Dogecoin. Like, why would anybody buy an inflationary asset? 5% inflationary asset, Dogecoin. It doesn't have a use case, and meanwhile, we saw this skyrocket. And I think there's one of our big supporters of Dogecoin in our chat is David. He's been coming in and he's been like, "Hey guys, I'm profiting off Dogecoin. Sorry to see you guys get left out." And he's right about that, right? So I find it really interesting, and there's just so many stories. If you go and you listen on the news, they keep selling these inflation fears, and if you're hearing all the inflation fears, if you're like me, you're thinking, no, I'm thinking, they're trying to sell these inflation fears, so everybody buys into into the commodities, which means I should buy the stocks. I should buy the tech stocks. I should get those long call options. Like, that seems like the smart thing. Meanwhile, those tech stocks have still been crashing. So someone like me has to wonder, well, am I disbelieving that story too much? Am I just following the wrong story, that everyone's trying to get me to buy the commodities, so I should instead buy those tech stocks? But the tech stocks keep crashing. How much longer is that going to go on for? How long will the inflation fears go on for? How much longer will that drive the cost of things? And I also know that there's a whole capital gains tax fear for the rich that have been going on because of what Biden's saying, and a lot of people are talking about like buying real estate, and real estate's been going up really highly in value, but because of other things that Biden wants to put in, like taxing the upper tiers of real estate, will that force the rich to go and buy cheaper real estate that only the lower income people would be looking at. So it's like a mess. It's like a huge mess. It seems like, if you've been following the markets and you've been listening to the news or other YouTubers, what's been going on. I know My Financial Friend is another guy I watch occasionally, and I sometimes honestly think, like, I don't know if this guy really knows what's going on. Like, he's been making a lot of videos about SafeMoon, and I actually own about $250 shares worth of SafeMoon that I invested around its current price right now, which is about 0.0083 or whatever it is. It was an 8, right? And but I think today it's basically close to the same value. At one point it was half that, and then it doubled, and it was more of an experiment for me because I could tell it had these deflationary token economics, and I'm kind of curious, like, how early do I have to be in order for this to still be worthwhile? Because essentially, the more someone's going to hold of SafeMoon, the greater advantage they're going to have over the rest of the token holders. And there's a giant wallet apparently that holds the liquidity tokens that have been burned. The LP tokens have been burned for that, and so I don't know what to think about SafeMoon, but I'm willing to bet $250 that maybe I'm in it really early. And it was funny because my financial friend has been making a lot of SafeMoon videos, and I saw a video just a couple of days ago where he said that he actually only owns $100 worth of SafeMoon, and I was like, I'm in like 2.5x compared to what he's in on that. And I thought it was kind of funny. But they're just all these stories about everything, and just seeing Dogecoin skyrocket over the days. Sure, people can say that Dogecoin isn't worthy of 10xing or being like a number 3 or 4 crypto, and I say let people vote with their money. And so sure you can have a story that Dogecoin isn't worth being the top 3 or 4 crypto, but there it is. Like, plenty of other people have voted for the opposite. And whether or not it's going to crash, who's going to lose that money and how's it going to end in tears for whom, it's hard to say, because it all, you only lose the money when you sell. And so, timing is really a huge factor in when you profit in the markets. So what I'm trying to say is that you really have to pick what you think is the strongest story and use your best judgment. And probably more importantly, something I've heard more often than not that I think is really really strong is don't invest more than you're willing to lose. And you know, especially as someone who is creating, you know, tokenized assets, and I know that people you know, buy tokenized game assets and look at them as investments. I've done that, and I've made a lot of profits from it. And so you know, I think it's really important for people to remember that when they, you know, when you invest something and it's down, that you remember that when you bought it, that you remembered that you said, hey, you know, I could lose some or all of this. It's potential. And so I think my best, you know, my best thoughts I can give you when it comes to going out and buying is, number one, I want to say, you know, kudos to you, because not everyone really has the, you know, the guts to go out and buy something as an investment in the hopes that it'll go up. And the second thing is timing is everything. And the third thing is, you have to really pick your best story. Pick the story that you think is the strongest story out there, and you know, and also have a plan and a strategy. You know, when are you going to exit? You know, what level of pain are you willing to deal with? And the funniest thing is that usually the most amount of pain that you're willing to deal with is sometimes the bottom of the market, and you don't want to sell at the bottom of the market, you know, because that's when you'll really lose. So. And I think a lot of this stuff comes to one of my last points, which is you have to really value experience. You know, I've only been trading for a year, but I've taken it very seriously as someone who is building game economics and, you know, building value for our gaming systems and things. You know, the more experience I can get in how markets are valued, where people try to game it, you know, take advantage of it, and so I can, you know, better get ahead of those types of people in the future. And you know, it's, you know, we build our own systems to make sure that you know, you can't game it, or we have ways to you know, to test to make sure that if someone tries to essentially gain an unfair advantage that we think isn't right and is not healthy for the economy, that we're looking at those things. But what this all comes down to is, and I was talking about my company there. I haven't talked much about my company in this video, but that's what I was talking about. So really you have to value experience. You know, I think knowledge is power, and the more knowledge and experience you have, the better it can prepare you for the future. Now, anything can happen, you know, really anything can, and there's sometimes circumstances that come up and situations that come up that no amount of experience can help you with. But I do think the more knowledge you have, the more experience you have, the more properly you are, you know, you're prepared for that future. So you know, I'm a huge proponent of, you know, watching videos like this on YouTube, and you know, listening to people who you think are intelligent and are steering you in the right direction. I'm actually very cautious about who I listen to on the internet, which is why sometimes I go to some, you know, to some YouTubers, and I listen to the videos, and I'm like, I don't know about what they're saying. And I really think you should be skeptical of everything people are saying, and including me. You know, I think you know, if you're looking at something as an investment and whether or not it'll make you returns, it's only as strong as its story. And that story is only as strong as how it exists inside a social network. And we're really seeing that now more than ever, that the you know, social networking and social sharing of stories around digital assets and equities seems almost to mean more than it has ever before. That's why we see so much volatility, and so I think the best thing we can do is really focus and be experts in certain areas and gain as much knowledge and experience, and that's what's going to provide us value in making trades in the future. So last but not least, going to talk a little bit about our passive income cards. So we have decided to roll out our passive income cards in stages. So before the end of this year, hopefully sooner, you'll be able to get our passive income cards and start earning tokens from being an owner of one of those. And later you'll be able to upgrade those cards, and you also earn NFT drops from the Crypto Castles games and supply those NFT cards to the Crypto Castles game platform. But that is coming soon, and we're about 30% sold out of a little bit more than that, sold out of our current inventory. Batches 1 through 4 sold out. Batches 8 is sold out. We're going to have batch 20 coming out here pretty soon. And we're super excited for this platform. We think it's going to be big. It's what we work hard on every day. And you can go to shop.blockchainkingdoms.com. There's a link at the bottom of this video. And our goal is to provide you a lot of value with our passive income card platform, where you can earn our passive income units. That is, the passive income that you earn is our passive income tokens. So we call them PIU, passive income units. And yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I hope you found it useful or valuable. Remember to like and subscribe. Join us in our Discord. Link is at the bottom of this video. Thank you, and I will see you in the next one.